I remember when at least when I grew up, you had people like people. You always had celebrities trying to make a name for themselves, politicians trying to make a name for themselves. Like this isn't anything new, but at least the way they would do it they would donate a lot of money to like a charity, or they would, you know, start a fundraiser, or they'd give money to Africa, this, that, and the other. And you know why they did it. Like, people aren't dumb. They know why they did it. They did it for the clout, but, I mean, if the people that's receiving this stuff is actually legitimately getting helped, my argument is does it really matter? I mean, look, it's just basic human understanding that you're gonna do things like that. You want to be charitable, one for the feeling of feeling good about it, two for the standing ovations from your fucking peers. I mean, that's just like basic human understanding, and that's fine. But I hear this: Mr. Beast digs wells in Africa. Like, the new wells will provide clean drinking water for up to 50,000 people in Cameroon, Kenya, Somalia, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. Dawson says, while an accompanying fundraiser to support local water aid organizations has been raised more than 300 grand by Monday morning. So I hear this, and apparently people are mad about this. And I'm like, I genuinely believe whenever Mr. Beast does a thing, people are just hard coded to just be mad at him. I don't even think they truly understand why. They just see Mr. Beast do a thing, and it's like a switch that flips on in their brain, and they're like, oh, must be mad. Must go clickety clack on keyboard and be mad. Like, I do remember a recent thing with like Jacksepticeye, and he said that, like, they asked him a few questions. I'm paraphrasing here, like, what's your feeling of, do you like Mr. Beast? And he's like, no. And they're like, why? He's like, well, because he makes you two feel like it's for the money and not for fun. And I hear that, and I'm like, so Jacksepticeye, would you be doing what you do now if you didn't make the amount of money you did? And look, the answer could be yes, right? But it's like, no, you're not understanding my point, right? If you would have never made a single cent from what you did, would you keep doing what you're doing now, right? There's a clear incentive to keep putting out the money, or keep putting out the product that is entertainment on YouTube, a site that does not have your best interests at heart, but you still do it. There is clearly an incentive there. So my question is, what is it? And it's like, okay, maybe he does do it for the money, but he also helps people out. Like, you know, you can enjoy what the fuck you do and still do it for the money. Like, these mindsets can exist in the same space and it'd be completely fine. But, and I'm not getting on any. I mean, Jacksepticeye's cool. I never met him, but I'm subscribed and watch his shit. He's a nice guy. But anyway, my argument is, so is Mr. Beast. Like, but people are just, again, hard coded to hate every single thing this guy does. And like, at first I was like, yeah, maybe it's a little pretentious, but then I'm like, well, you know, people are legitimately getting helped. Like, he built, what? How many wells did he build again? 100 wells. Like, he's out there in the fucking sticks doing this. And again, I don't know the situation in the African countries, but all I know is there are countries where you can go to and there's like skyscrapers, people eating good, people doing good. in one country, but then you cross the border and it's like a PvP mode in another country. Then you go to the left and you have people in the huts and tents. Then you go to the right and oh, you're back in PvP mode. You gotta do your stealth skill. And again, I mean, Africa has some of the wealthiest countries in Africa. Well, for an African nation. But they also have some of the poorest, unfortunately. And here you have Jacksepticeye, not fucking Jacksepticeye, Mr. Beast actually doing something about it. I mean, oh look, these are nations, right? Cameroon, Kenya, Somalia. These are whole ass nations that, by the way, they could have had a well. They could have had these wells in these countries, but they didn't up until Mr. Western White Man came and built them. And people are still mad, and people are somehow still mad about it. American YouTuber Mr. Beast's latest video, in which he says he built 100 wells across Africa, has drawn a complex response online since it was published on Saturday. Some Kenyan activists and journalists said he has spotlighted the failure of the Kenyan government, while Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, anticipated that he will be canceled following the reaction. Yeah, he knows he knows he's going to get flack for this, right? He's legitimately risking his career here, because we know how much power the Twitter mob and people with the clickety clack has. I mean, we know what happened to Gina Carano or Henry Cavill. Like, we know this. And these are people that, again, the market were fine with these people. But the companies weren't. The mouse, apparently, they goofy asses at Disney were fine. Or, they claim to be, social justice warriors and activists and were willing to push the message of feminism until you get Gina Carano. Then these the goofy asses have to shove their fists up the ass and be like, no, actually you're not supposed to be, strong and in power. You're supposed to say what we want you to say. We're supposed to shove our hands up your ass and you say what we want you to say. So again, my point is Mr. Beast knows he's gonna catch flack for this, but I don't think he cares. Like, again, is he doing it for the money? Yes. But is he doing it to help people? Yeah, I like to believe so. He could just sit on this money and not work a day of his life, but here he is in Africa in PvP mode, PvP areas, right? PvP areas, and actually doing and putting his money where his mouth is. And again, this is 100% shining a spotlight on the failure of the Kenyan government. These are wells that were not there, were not constructed until Mr. Western Man came in there and constructed them. And now these people are getting helped. Donaldson's 10-minute video has showed him donating supplies to Kenyan schools such as new furniture, soccer balls, computers, whiteboards, and projectors, building a bridge across a river to safely connect the village with the local schools and hospitals, and donate bikes to the village in Zimbabwe to help children get to school. Like, what is the issue? Oh, he's doing it for the money and the fame. I don't care. These people they're getting helped. Like, prominent activist Boniface Mugwangi contrasted Donaldson's action with those of the Kenyan government, saying that we are a shameful, horrible country, a begging nation governed by millionaires. See, again, and this is the problem with most African nations, it's corruption. The problem with Africa is corruption. Like, name a nation on the planet. They've been through this. Honestly, I think America's going through this right now. But anyway, you have people with money, and again, if you look in the government at the government officials in Zimbabwe, you will not see a single white man there. You'll see a bunch of millionaire Africans that could have done this. Like, they're willing to tax their people. They're willing to take the money from their people. But they don't get to do anything with that money. They just sit on it. Right? And I go back to this story in South Africa, because apparently they're lapping up this whole ecological mumbo jumbo, we gotta save Mother Gaia bullshit, and apparently there's whole cities that now have to go 12 hours without electricity, and South Africa's a wealthy nation. It's a wealthy nation, one of the wealthiest nations in Africa. But you have people in the government who are corrupt, put on a nepotism, adopted an ideology, and now they want to. And again, these exact same government officials, they don't have to have their electricity turned off, right? But it's the people, and there was an electric company that sold its excess electricity to the next city over, and what happened to them? Well, the South African government sued them, and they come up with some goofy ass argument that it made people lose faith in their government, and they can't do this because it makes the South African government look bad. It's like. So they're not even trying to hide the fact that this is happening. And again, there's a lot of socialist African nations too. I don't know how YouTube's going to treat this fucking video. I mean, clearly, I don't care. I mean, he had it on X, formerly known as Twitter. See, this is what they call it. X, formerly known as Twitter. Every 5 years, we give newly elected members of parliament and senators $5 million car grant, 33,000. Fuel those cars every month, but we have no money to drill boreholes for our people. Oh yeah, that's him saying it. Okay, so here's someone from Africa confirming literally everything I just said. The fact that their government's fine with tax, I think this is from, what country is this? Zimbabwe? Our Kenyan government. It's from Kenya. He's saying this. Like, the Kenyan government's 100% willing to tax them, but they live without fresh water. Similarly, freelance journalist Ferdinand Omondi lauded Donaldson's effort, but said that it's embarrassing that a YouTuber jetted into Kenya on a charity tour to perform tasks our taxes should have completed ages ago. This is exactly what the fuck I am talking about. And right, this isn't even ideological. Right? This isn't anything racial or ideological. It's economical. Like, you have millionaires that will continue to be millionaires, taxing his people, but they're not doing anything with the taxes. I lost my train of thought, but CNN reached out to a Kenyan government spokesperson for comment, but had not received a response at the time of publication. So they're ratting on our man. Like, our man probably could have been in. They're ratting on him. Why does CNN need to reach out with the government of Kenya about what a private individual is doing in Kenya? Why does an American company need to reach out with the Kenyan government about a private citizen? Well, I mean, he's a public personality. Seren Kaba-Jones, founder and CEO of Face Africa, an organization working to improve water infrastructure and sanitation in sub-Saharan Africa, told CNN, "I've been doing this for 15 years, but we've been struggling to continue the work because funding, awareness, and advocacy all take work." And then she said, overnight, this person came along who happened to be a white male figure with a huge platform, and all of a sudden he gets all the attention. It's kind of frustrating, but it's also understanding the nature of how the world is. What the fuck does that even mean? You're telling me the white male figure rolls in, gets his hands dirty, actually does something that the Kenyan fucking government fails to do, or just incapable to do, and it's frustrating to you. I want to know what organization like she's working for, because the problem with most fundraisers is most of the money don't actually reach the people. Most of it goes towards, because they're non-profit organizations, so most of the money people donate goes for paying wages, paying bureaucracy, paying to get things to Africa. Then very little actually gets to these nations in comparison. Like, I think 30% doesn't actually hit the country. And I'm like, so someone's taking this money down the road here. I don't know. Allegedly. That's my fucking Xbox about to turn off in 5 minutes. But yeah, so he walks in and actually just puts his fucking money where his mouth is, and it's frustrating. But it's also understanding in the nature of how the world is. Yes, people are fine. People are okay with people with money putting that money where their mouth is and actually doing something. Like, is that a problem? Is that way you said you've been doing this for 15 years and struggling and continue to work? Why do you care? You should be happy. Seren Kaba-Jones should be happy. Because he's doing what you should be doing, but you're not. You're a CEO sitting in an office. She praised Dawson for shining the spotlight on the need for clean water supply, but warned that the issue is sustainability. Okay, that's one thing that she said that's correct. Sustainability. Like, you can argue that sending nothing but money, like sending charity to these African nations, are the reason why they never really produce themselves. Like, if people just get handouts, but you have a guy, on the street selling stuff for, I don't know, let's just say like $5. Like, but you have free 99 in this organization. Why would anyone why would anyone pay that guy for, I don't know, his food, his clothing, his whatever, if they got free 99 a block away in a fundraising place? Again, like she said, the issue is sustainability. People need to create. They can't just sit and be given. It's one thing to go in and install the well. It's another thing for us to go back for 3 or 4 or 5 years from now and see if that well is still functional. That's something you could be doing. Ma'am, you can do this. Miss CEO of a fundraising organization. You can do. He set the groundwork. You can be doing that. You have the people that can do that. So where's the issue? Kabah Jones told CNN that Face Africa works in areas where 60% of wells are broken and people go back to drinking from the creeks. Do you not have the infrastructure to keep these things going? Or you just want to keep being given money? I mean, you're a CEO, so I'm assuming you live in a good house, a good place. I'm assuming you have the money, or at least the manpower to do that. Because there was no infrastructure put in place for follow up, for maintenance, or for repair. And again, the governments can do this now. Like, they don't. This guy pretty much walked into there for free. Like, it didn't cost the Kenyan government a dime for this. Just some random white man walked in there and did it for him. You know, they can make sure the wells are kept up to, or the maintenance is kept up on these wells and followed up for maintenance and repair. But are they going to do it? Are you going to do it, Kabah Jones? I don't know. I mean, those wells are there now. Like, they're there. They're there. But, I mean, you can check up on the maintenance. All much of the reactions of Dawson's video seem to be focused on how it shamed the Kenyan government. Its creator anticipated a backlash, saying on X that he knows I'm going to get canceled because I upload a video helping people. And to be 100% clear, I don't care. Yes, that's the mindset you have to have on the internet. You have to state that you don't care. You cannot bend the knee to people who do not create, who do not help people out, but wants to sit online on their computer and go clickety clack and spread their vitriol to you and everyone else. Like, you have to have that mindset. Aspiring Kenyan politician Franco Gatho criticized Dawson's video, saying on X that it perpetuates the stereotype that Africa is depending on handouts and philanthropic intervention. I mean, maybe Kenya is. Again, if I said all of Africa, I'm saying it colloquially, but there are nations in Africa who are fully and 100% self-sustaining. Hell, nations in Africa even have a space program, right? Apparently, Kenya is not one of them. I mean, it perpetuates the stereotype. You are perpetuating the stereotype. I mean, you're an up-and-coming, aspiring politician, but I assume you make a lot of money. You should be thanking him. I mean, it's your fucking country. But people have to act like it's a football game. Like, oh, he's on the white man team. He can't help us out. This just boggles my fucking mind. You know, you can make sure the maintenance of these wells are kept up to par, Mr. Francis Gatho. You can do this, right? But no. Though Gatho's comments attract criticism of their own. Yeah, no shit. I mean, he's making you look bad, Mr. Francis. Or at least the politicians are your co-workers. I don't know you in particular. Dawson is the most popular individual creator on YouTube with more than 200 million subscribers. He has become known for his philanthropy, posting videos in which he sponsored 1,000 blind people's cataract surgery and bought prosthetic limbs for 2,000 amputees. And again, he's putting his money where his fucking mouth is. I genuinely don't understand the hate. Because even if you don't care for Mr. Beast, even if you hate his guts, you can't claim that he's not helping people out. Like, I know when the blind thing happened, a bunch of apparent blind activists got on him and said, "Oh, well, this shows that people are ashamed of being blind when they should accept it." I'm like, man, you're giving life-changing surgery to somebody. Like, this is life-changing. This person can now experience life through a completely different lens. People would kill for that chance, right? And 2,000 amputees, and bought prosthetics, 2,000 amputees. Again, there are people who would kill for this chance. But no, people need to act like they're on this football game and they're not on his side. They're not on Mr. Beast's side. This is going to be a long fucking video because, oh my god, I'm getting heated. I'm not just saying that because my fans are off and it's fucking 1,000 degrees in here. This video has helped him build a business empire potentially worth more than $1 billion and garnered him enough recognition that Time Magazine names him one of the most influential people in 2023. Yes. I mean, he's helping. Granted, this isn't a lot of people, but I mean, how many blind people do you know in real life? Like, I don't think. I'm only 25. I've been to college. I don't think I know. I know a couple of people with like amputees, but I don't really know anyone who's like legally blind. I mean, cataract surgery is expensive, but I mean, cataracts is something that can be healed. Some critics have previously accused Dawson of exploiting vulnerable people to generate views and revenue, but he said on Next, "I'm always going to use my channel to help people and try to inspire my audience to do the same." Again, I always say this. There are very few fucking role models, and even fewer male role models. Here is one that people are mad at him, exploiting vulnerable people. It's like, okay, let's say he is. That's still 1,000 blind people who can see, 2,000 amputees that can now function and move properly, 100 wells built in Africa. I mean, I don't believe that is ever his intention, but assuming this is the case, these people are still getting help. They don't just get helped, then vanish from the face of the earth. They still exist. Like, he still has 200 million subscribers, so this is what his consumer base wants to see. And that's my Xbox turning back on, because I turned it on. I don't see the problem. Like, again, you can hate his guts, but he's still helping people. Like, you can admire the grind. Is this it? Please let this be it. I'm gonna be on this. Oh, what the fuck's all this? Okay, anyway. But yeah, I think Mr. Beast is doing a great job, doing a good thing. I think more people should follow in his footsteps, and more people do. I mean, you got Lil Wayne. Yeah, Lil Wayne. You got PewDiePie. People donate in silence. That's my Xbox again. People donate in silence, and that's completely fine. Lots of money. But I'm fine with people doing it, and, I mean, people knowing that it's happening. Because, again, role models are needed nowadays. There's very few of them. You see a bunch of fucking weirdos, weird actresses and actors shitting on the consumer base. You see Jake Paul on them. I mean, you see a lot of fucking weirdos online. But then you have one genuinely wholesome person but they set him out to be the bad guy. That's just not something that I understand. But anyway, have fun. Peace.